What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Triple Rich. I'm back with another episode of Kick Talk. It's been a while. I missed you. I hope you missed me. But I can't believe that it's episode 23. So it's only right that I threw on a Bulls jersey and we talk about a famous Jordan model. Today we're going to talk about the Jordan 10. I feel like it's an underrated style that needs a little attention, so here we are. Before we get into all that, you know I got to drop some fun facts on. First fun fact, did you know this was the first ever Jordan that didn't use MJ's input? Yeah, during this time, he was playing baseball, so they had to go on their own. Second fun fact, did you know that at this time, Jordan had just retired for his first time from basketball, and everyone thought that this would be the last Jordan ever on shelves. Pretty crazy. Final fun fact. Did you know that recently they dug up the archives of the designs and the Jordan 10 could have looked completely different? Yeah, check this picture out. It's not what I thought. It was a shocker to me. But without further ado, let's get into the history, let's talk about some of the retros, and let's talk about how I feel and some of my history with the sneaker. So without further ado, let's go! Let's get into the origins and the history of this Jordan 10. It was originally designed in 1994 by, yes, you guessed it, the legend himself, Tinker Hatfield. This was actually the first ever Jordan designed without any of MJ's input. He had recently retired from the NBA and was pursuing an MLB baseball career. A theory has it that because his dad had just tragically died in the recent years, he wanted to fulfill his father's dream of seeing him become a baseball player. So that's what he did. And because MJ had retired, nobody knew if he was going to come back or not. So, one, this was the Jordan 10, which is a big number in any collection. But two, because he had retired, they didn't think he was going to come back. So they made this shoe an ode to Michael Jordan. The way they did that was at the bottom of the sole, they put all of his greatest accomplishments from his rookie year, which was in 1985, to his final year at that time, which was 1994. An interesting detail about the 94 is, since he was retired at that time, some of the accolades you'll see are Defensive Player of the Year, scoring titles, but when they got to 1994, they said, and beyond. So I thought that was a great touch at the time when no one really knew where Jordan's head was at, what he was going to do. So it was definitely an interesting time for the Jordan brand and the Jordan sneaker. And you know, I feel personally, kind of like the Jordan 2, this Jordan model doesn't get too much respect because they did go a minimalistic route with it. So, with that being said, when the first Jordan 10 released, it had a toe strap right here. And it's an interesting detail. I personally loved it. It was only this first model, which is the Jordan Steel 10 model, that had that strap originally. Lo and behold, even though Michael didn't give any design details at the beginning, he actually ended up coming out of retirement that next year in 95, and the Jordan 10 was the shoe that he would wear in his debut back playing basketball. Before he got on the court, he said, I don't like this toe strap. You guys got to get rid of it. So that's what they did, and you'll never see MJ playing in the toe strap, but it was there first. So very interesting detail to me. The Jordan 10 Steel colorway was the first color to come out. After that in 94, they dropped a shadow color, and then they dropped a Carolina powder blue color. In 1995, they decided, let's, branch out with this design a little bit more, and they made a cities pack. In that cities pack, 5 different colors dropped. You had Chicago, you had New York, you had Orlando, Sacramento, and Seattle. Why they chose these cities besides Chicago, I don't know. But either way, they're part of the colorway history of the original colors of the Jordan 10. And most people will clamor for those and say they need to bring those back. I'm one of those purists. With that being said, when Jordan came from retirement, he wore the Chicago 10s, surprise, surprise, but To add a little twist to it, they embroidered the number 45 in the side of the shoe when he came back. Now, that's important because when Jordan came back from retirement, he kind of wanted a fresh start and he didn't want to wear 23 at the time. So he decided to wear his high school number, which was 45. In 2005, which was about the 10-year anniversary of the Jordan 10, they decided to do a pretty big haul to commemorate the shoe. And in total, in 2005, 7 colors dropped, and 2 of them were women's exclusive. To me, I'll be talking about this a lot today because this is my favorite color. The Jordan 10 Steel arrived as its first retro. And as we mentioned before, MJ did not like the strap on the toe, and this was the only color to debut with the strap on the toe. When it retroed, it turned out like this. It had no strap. It was an immediate hit, and, I remember that shoe fondly at that time when it dropped. Later in 2008, they would retro for the first time the Shadow colorway, and that Shadow colorway came in a pack. All the OGs out there remember the CDP pack. CDP stands for Countdown Pack, and at that time, Jordan was packaging 2 shoes and selling them at once. The cool part was they would put 2 numbers together to equal 23. So if you do the math, you could guess that this Jordan 10 also came with a 13 when it dropped in its pack. And that was an amazing time too. All my OGs out there, you know what I'm talking about. From 2012 to about 2015, there were some peppered releases. It wasn't as deliberate as the 2005 release, but the pair I actually have in my hand right now is in that time period. This is the 2013 Steel release, and they actually have not retroed this colorway since. But there is good news. They're coming soon, and we'll talk about that in a second. In 2016, there was a huge collab for the Jordan 10. That was a nice moment for it. Drake and his OVO crew did a collab. One was a black pair and one was a white pair. I believe the white pair came out first, and that was in the late 2015, and then early 2016, they did the black pair. It was a large moment for the 10. It renewed interest in the model, I thought, and after that, with that momentum, Jordan dropped a City Series pack. Similar to how they did in the original release, but they went a little more international this time. They dropped Shanghai, they dropped London, they dropped Paris, but they also had LA, New York City, and Chicago. So I thought that was a nice touch to bring back, what they originally did. And they have not released any retros of the 10 since 2016. I'm happy I still have this pair on hand, but it's on the way out. So there is good news. In 2025, they are going to retro these steel bad boys again. And even better, it has been confirmed it will come back with the strap on the toe. Being a historian, being a purist, as you know I am so excited to really get that original feel back. And I definitely will be getting a pair. I don't know how much I'll have to pay. Hopefully I get it for retail. But you can guarantee in 2025, I will have the Steel 10s. What do you think about the Steel 10s? Are you hyped for this retro release? You can clearly tell I am, but I know somebody else out there is. Now that we've reached the end of this episode, this is one of my favorite parts where I get to retell stories, where I was, how I feel about the shoe, and, how some of my friends are connected to the shoe. So first thing I want to go back is into high school. 2005, I was like a freshman, sophomore, somewhere around there when the Jordan 10s retroed for the first time. And it was definitely a status symbol where I was growing up. All the fly kids were wearing 10s, and I had to be a part of that. So I eventually got a pair of the all-black Shadow retro that they had at the time. It wasn't the OG retro where they put the black suede, but they made it basically all black leather. And I love that shoe, but I gotta say, that is the squeakiest shoe I have ever owned. You could not sneak up, prank your friends, or even sneak back into your house wearing Jordan 10s, that's for sure, because they will announce themselves. But interestingly, I was reminiscing with my boy Church a couple weeks back. Shout out to Flight Club. And he was telling me that there was actually a remedy to take the squeak out of the Jordan 10. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of this, but he told me that if you put some baby powder on the sole, it makes the shoe quiet. Now, I don't know the science to it. I'm assuming maybe the baby powder falls into the grooves. And like I said, I don't know the science. It was my first time hearing that, but I always love hearing like quirky fixes on shoes and like different tips and tricks. So shout out to my boy Church. I appreciate you, bro. Also, big shout out to my boy Stan. Been one of my best friends since we went to college together. And actually, the first day I met him, he had on a pair of 10s. He had on the red and gray pair, very similar to this, but instead of black, it was red. Super cool colorway, very limited, and I'm sure they go for a lot of money now. But yeah, I remember that memory, and it was a good time. College was a good time, and so shout out to my boy Stan. And then, finally, I'm looking so forward to this retro in 2025 because that strap, I remember the first time I saw the strapped version on eBay. I'm like, what is this? This is amazing. At first I thought it was maybe like a kids exclusive because, sometimes they change this tooling, but reading into the history like we just got into about how Jordan didn't like it, and that's why you didn't see it moving forward, kind of made me want it more. So I'm looking forward to it. I do feel like the Jordan 10 has always been underrated, so I'm happy to bring some attention to it. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about the Jordan 10? Is it boring? Do you like it? Is it an underrated classic? I'm here for all opinions. But like always, I appreciate you when you subscribe, when you like, when you tell your friends about it. It goes a long way. This channel means a lot to me, and I love sharing my knowledge with those who are also into shoes. So thanks again for another great Kick Talk episode. I appreciate you. I hope all of you have a great day. I'm going to keep getting better at this, and I know you're going to keep getting better at whatever it is you do on that other side of the screen. Until next time, this is Kick Talk. This is Triple Rich, and we out. Peace. Gold frame with the tortoise I'm christening.